This is August. I am going home from my night shift, and look at this. It's dark like September, October. You know, after Labor Day, when the seasons start to change and it becomes winter. How is it that it is so dark? About 10 days ago, when I was working and I left in the morning, it was not this dark. It was light outside. What is going on with our seasons? Is it global warming? What is happening? Because I am not quite understanding what is going on and why I'm going home in the darkness now. And 10 days ago when I left work, it was not dark. So, this is my drive home from my 12-hour shift.
patient that really needs to be there, or are they in a bed and they need a higher level of care? So with that, if you are an ER nurse, a perfect skill to put on your resume, honestly, any nurse, is medical necessity determination. You're able to assess the patient and determine the medical necessity. Is it urgent that I need to page nephrology, urology, cardiology, whatever it may be? Okay, that leads me to my next point: critical thinking skills. You have to be able to critically think, because you have to apply a guideline to the patient that you're working on, and you have to be able to critically think to pick a guideline. It's hard to explain unless you're in utilization review, but critical thinking skills are absolutely necessary to do utilization review. So that needs to be somewhere on your resume. When I say keywords, I'm talking about these words that I'm saying need to be in your summary of your resume or on your skills on your resume. It needs to be somewhere on your resume to trigger the ATS, applicant tracking system. This is the system that these recruiters, these companies are now using to filter through these hundreds of applications. So if you're applying and you're just getting no's, you're not getting a recruiter reaching out to you to schedule an interview, your resume, it's your resume. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Keywords aren't good. They're no good was like I was working, like I still had the role that I'm in now at work. And I said, alright y'all, these are the 4 major roles that you can work as a virtual travel nurse. And I only know this because I worked every single one of them, and I'm gonna rank them from my favorite to my least favorite. So let's get in. So my favorite contract to work was the hospital at home. Hospital at home is basically a model of care where patients get to finish their treatment at home. They're not discharged, they just finish their treatment at home, but they need a virtual nurse and an in-person nurse to care for them. And I decided to be the virtual nurse that cares for them, and it was just a really good experience. I really enjoyed being on hospital at home. The patients are so much nicer when they get to recover at their own house. That made a big difference. I enjoyed my coworkers. I enjoyed the concept. Like, that was a really cool job to have. I extended almost 4 times on that contract because I enjoyed it that much. But yeah, hospital at home, number 1, really enjoyed it. Number 2 is inpatient virtual nursing or acute care virtual nursing. So basically, you're an admissions and discharge nurse for hospital systems across the country. Well, that's how I did it anyway. And you call into the patient's rooms on a camera on top of their TV, and you call in and you support the nurse that way as well. You call in and you do admissions, discharges, rounds, skin checks, medication sign-offs. I actually really enjoyed this one too. I did this one for a few years. It's a really nice alternative for bedside nursing. You're basically a virtual bedside nurse. That's the best way to put it. The next role I worked was RPM, or remote patient monitoring. This one was okay. Patients go home with the kit, and basically you monitor their vital signs daily, and you call them if there's anything that comes back out of whack, vital signs too high or too low. You give them a call, make sure they're safe, or escalate things if they need it. And then number 4 that you can work as a virtual travel nurse is telephone triage. This one is just okay for me. It's honestly not my favorite, but it's the oldest. It's been around the longest. Basically, you're an advice line nurse, and you're giving patients advice based on the information they present to you during the phone. And those are all the 4 roles I have worked as a virtual travel nurse. If you're interested in learning more about virtual travel nursing, I have a free virtual travel nurse guide linked to my bio. It shows you step by step on how to become a virtual travel nurse, what it is, all the things. Has anybody else worked any of these roles? And if so, which one did you like? Which ones didn't you like? Let's talk about it in the comments. These are the 4 major roles that you can work as a virtual travel nurse.
I had a girlfriend who I eventually ended up marrying many years later, and I'm a very jealous person. And we walked into this pub, and a guy was there, and he greeted her effusively, gave her a cuddle and a kiss, and I'm sort of standing there. He hasn't even acknowledged my existence at this point in time.
Is so high is because rich white people touch their children and then doctors cover it up.
Most of the girls between the ages of 5 and 9 did not claim they had been assaulted, but by the time record-keeping systems were in place in the late 1920s, girls under age 13 accounted for 10% of reported infections among females. So, doctors were vexed as to how so many girls had become infected, particularly those from white, middle, and upper-class families. Many white professionals believed that only foreign or ignorant men abused their daughters, and so assumed that incest occurred only in poor, working-class, immigrant, or African.
No guesswork, no reinventing the wheels. This was not about building a bit.
Hey guys, so I'm back with another 100% remote work from home opportunity, and this is with a company called Accenture. I'm really excited about this one. They're paying you all the way up to $40.50 per hour to review claims and documentation. It's great for those of you who have customer service backgrounds and you're looking for a way to transition into the medical space. This one does not require a whole lot in order to qualify, and this is a very rare opportunity. I'm telling you, I look at this website all the time, and I have yet to really find entry-level roles share with you guys right now. So if you're interested in learning more about the company, the Glassdoor rating, what the job is all about, and how you can find this for yourself and apply, stay tuned for all of the details and go ahead and follow for many daily.
Texas Roadhouse, you're in trouble. So it seems like Texas Roadhouse is back in the headlines, and no, it's not because they found staples in the rolls. It's a lot more serious. A user on X posted that they had uncovered a private Facebook group, and supposedly this Facebook group has over 400,000 people, including serving Texas Roadhouse and Logan's Roadhouse. Having a private Facebook page is an issue. It's what this group is talking about in this private Facebook page. That's the issue. This is all alleged as of right now because this investigation is still ongoing. But supposedly this group consisting of all these servers are talking about how they do things to black people's food in the restaurant. The user on X said that they uncovered postings about people saying they were spitting in black people's food, licking their fingers and handling the rolls, and actually just blatantly mistreating black tables. And since this has been posted numerous days and gone viral, so viral that Texas Roadhouse has released an official statement about the incident. And all these current allegations against Texas Roadhouse and this Facebook group is not verified yet. This is all alleged. However, in my research of these current allegations, I did find a story that was verified back in 2008 at Texas Roadhouse. So back in 2008, Kevin Hansen delivered his family to eat dinner at Texas Roadhouse in Wisconsin. Dang, that's crazy. That's back to back Wisconsin. So Hansen had ordered a 16-ounce ribeye medium rare, and when his steak arrived, it had been overcooked. Now Hansen wasn't one to complain, and he had told his family members he was just going to eat what he could, and he wasn't going to say anything until the server stopped by to check on him with steak. That's when Hansen's family members spoke up and let the server know that he had overcooked Hansen's steak, and that's when a manager came to the table and actually talked Kevin into getting in with their steak. The manager brought the steak back to the kitchen to show him how to cook the steak, and he was using it as a coaching moment to show the cooks, hey, this was supposed to be medium rare and overcooked. So the manager instructed the cook to actually put on the steak and cook it medium rare. Well, this cook took exception to that and got mad and was just thinking that Kevin just wanted free food. So somewhere in the middle of the cooking process, the cook had cut a slit out of the steak, reached in his pants, pulled pubes out, and stuffed them in the slit that he had made in the steak, flipped it over, seared it up, and sent it out to the table. Other co-workers seen the cook do this and did absolutely nothing to stop it. By the time the steak got out to the table, Kevin's family had mostly finished their food, and Kevin had already eaten his side, so he asked for a to-go box just to take the steak home. Kevin had gotten home, put the steak in the fridge, and didn't eat it for a couple of days later. When he heated it up and started cutting into it, took the first bite and realized it was hair in there. That's when Kevin started examining the steak and found the pocket that had been cut in there with a handful of hair. And that's when this turned into a criminal case. Thankfully, after all the investigation, everything was said and done, the cook did go to jail for 6 months and 2 years probation. Not only that, but the witnesses who observed the cook doing it and didn't stop the steak going out was also charged. The jury also awarded Kevin a lump sum in damages. So tell me in the comments, do you think this alleged group exists? Or do you think this is all fabricated? Or could it be just a sliver of truth in what this person is saying? Texas Roadhouse, you're in trouble. So it seems like Texas Roadhouse is back in the